And we are live. Gentlemen, welcome to the first official episode of the Red Man Hotline. It's going to be hosted by yours truly, Donovan Sharpe. You guys can find all my work on donovansharpe.com. I also have a YouTube channel. I'll put that in the chat at some point. I'm also joined here by Steve the Dean Williams. You guys can follow him on Twitter at The Man Mindset. You could make sure you hit his website, themanmindset.com. He does coaching, dating videos, et cetera, et cetera. Steve, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. For the first show, man, let's get it, man.
Let's do it. So, guys, the reason why we decided to do the show, and by the way, the phone lines are open, 914-205-5356. The reason we decided to do the show, it's actually quite simple. We get a lot of phone calls and super chats during the Red Man group, and unfortunately, we can't get to them all, and we can't really give the attention that each phone call and each question really needs. And so we decided to do we're going to shrink the panel from 5 to 3. Normally, now Rolla Tamaki was supposed to be in here with us today, the next week, and then the week after that. But he's got some things that he's dealing with up in the Reno Tahoe area, so he wasn't able to join us. So it's going to be me and Steve today. And so yeah, the way it's going to go, this is just going to be an open phone line. You guys can really call about anything you want. What we're going to talk about today is we're gonna talk about how to win your divorce as a man. I actually talked about this on my show a little bit yesterday. So for those of you who watch my show, it'll be a little bit repetitive. The only difference here is that I'm gonna have Steve the Dean riding shotgun to sort of give his take. And again, guys, this isn't legal advice. It's not just so we can go ahead and get this out of the way. This is not legal advice, nor is it intended to be. Myself, Steve, we are not attorneys. We're not legal professionals. Everything that we're about to talk about should be evaluated by any attorney who has a bar license to practice law in the state that you live in. So now that that's out of the way, we're gonna give you guys a few ways on how you can actually win your divorce. Again, keep in mind that all state laws are different, and no two circumstances are exactly alike. And of course, because of that, results may vary. But the advice that I'm going to give you guys today, that Steve is going to give you guys today, this is universal. Okay, this is all based on common sense. It's based on survival, protecting yourself, and just having a good overall working knowledge of female nature from a red pill perspective. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to define the word "win" in a divorce, and I'll get your take on this, Steve. So what I would define as a win, and by the way, I can't see the chat. I can only see the super chats. I guess I'll just go ahead and let everybody know now. I have a weakness for trolls and all that good stuff, and because of that, I've decided to take myself off of that narcotic. I cannot control myself when people are in the chat trying to go back and forth with me. Oh, Donovan, you can't stand it when people disagree with you. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just that I don't like cowards, and anybody can get into a Facebook channel chat and chat a bunch of shit going back and forth, blah, 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 right? Like, you can do that. You're sitting there typing, you're getting my attention. Listen, for whatever reason, maybe I'm emotionally immature, but I'm masculinely mature enough to understand that I have a glaring weakness for people who like to talk shit, poke the bear, blah, 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 blah. So I will not be able to see any of the chat. Listen, if you have something to say, if you want to call us, if you want to talk shit, if you want to troll, fine. But you're going to give us a call, 914-205-5356. If you block your number, I'm going to hang up on you. That's just how this goes. We're going to try to be a little more civil. We're going to try to keep the swearing down. We want to give you guys good, actionable advice. But by the same time, we want to keep what we call in the black manosphere, we want to keep the fuckery at a minimum. This isn't a circus and clown show. This isn't a morning zoo crew with all kinds of sound effects. And, we have characters calling in and people. No. This is going to be a serious professional show. We're just getting this off the ground, so we're kind of just winging it today. But what we want this to be is we want this to be a place where, guys, listen, if you have questions, you can either call today or call tomorrow. But the fact of the matter is that we're not going to tolerate all of the nonsense. This is going to be a professional show. We're going to do the very best we can to get through as many calls as humanly possible if we start to get them. So the first thing I'm going to do here, Steve, and by the way, if anybody is talking shit about me in the chat, just let them know, hey, Donovan can't hear you or see you because he doesn't look at the chat. So, Steve, what I define for an American male as a win in a divorce is, number one, you get 50-50 custody agreement, or you get full custody of your child or children. Number two, little to no child support. Obviously, if there's 50-50 custody agreement, sometimes there's not child support needed. If you have full custody, then there's no child support needed. Sometimes you get child support. Number three, Steve, is keeping what you came with, right? So let's say you had a net worth, and this is, I'm just throwing a round number out here. Let's just say you have a net worth of $100,000, right? Yeah. And we want to make sure that you leave with $100,000. And it doesn't have to be $100,000 in liquid assets, right? Maybe you have a car and a vacation home. Maybe you have a trust. That all contributes to your net worth. If you can leave the divorce with what you came with, that's part of the win. The fourth thing that I define that would give you the win is keeping most of your present and future earnings. In other words, avoiding exorbitant child support and exorbitant alimony payments. And then, of course, number five, which is related to number four, no alimony. So what do you think about that, Steve? Would you consider that to be a win, or would you add, subtract, multiply, divide? What would you do?
Well, I think Donovan, it is a win, but in reality, you're 1,000% right. But in reality, unfortunately, because of how the laws are scripted and because you don't know how to, not you, I'm saying the guy doesn't know how to protect his assets, an angry woman can get half of your stuff and take some of the stuff that you have just in the negotiation of the divorce. So for me, I'm more about the preventative maintenance of it, the preventative maintenance of even being in a relationship with a woman who is disrespectful. But you're right about what you're saying, but the problem is it's going to be very hard, because if she gets a good lawyer that is real good, they will try to screw you out of everything, man.
No, absolutely. So this is actually going to be a really good dynamic. So what I will do is I will give my take on what to do when the divorce is imminent. And then what you can do on the back end, you can say, okay, Donovan is right, I agree or disagree, but here's what you do to avoid being in that situation in the first place.
Right, cool.
So I'll be around to pick up the pieces after the train. Right? You can tell them what to do to avoid the train. Right? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah. Yes,
guys, if you're listening, listen, if you're an attorney, a paralegal, whatever the case may be, if you have experience, if there's something that you did that helped you in your child support case or with your divorce, guys, give us a call, 914-205-5356. That's the number to call. If you have any advice for men, if you agree, disagree, if I say something that you say, hey, listen, Donovan, this is irresponsible, you shouldn't do that, and here's why, because of my experience or my know-how, listen, this isn't something that I know a whole lot about. So I am open to criticism. Please call me up and tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. This isn't about who's right or wrong. This is about protecting men from getting their wallet pulled out of their ass. Like, this is what we're trying to do. So now keep in mind, right? All five of my parameters as far as winning, you don't have to get all five. Remember, 50-50 child custody, little to no child support, keeping what you came with, keeping most of your present and future earnings, and no alimony. Okay. Now, this isn't always possible. You have to understand, gentlemen, you're going to take a loss in some way, shape, or form. All right. This is a divorce in area code 352. I see you on the line. I'm going to get to you in 2 seconds. Okay. So for example, you might have to pay a small amount in child support if there's a huge discrepancy in your earnings, because she doesn't make quite as much as you do. But we want to make sure it's not going to be enough to make or break you if you get 50-50 custody. Listen, you are going to take a financial hit regardless, because you're going to have to hire a good lawyer anyway. But keeping it to a minimum is definitely a win. Here is a loss, and I'm going to get to you, area code 352. A loss would be your wife getting full custody, you paying a ridiculous amount of child support, giving up the family dwelling, losing your car or your cars, her getting a piece of your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA, your savings, your pension. That would be a huge loss. Again, the idea here is to keep as much of that as possible, okay? To mitigate as much of that damage as humanly possible. If you manage to hang on to most of what you came into a relationship with, if you manage to get at least 50-50 custody of the kids, keeping most of what you make now and in the future, that is a huge win for a man in a divorce. So now that we've established what we consider to be a win and a loss, let's go to the phone line. Area code 352. You are on live with the Redman Hotline. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
If you're a married man and you went into that marriage as a blue pill and you discover the red pill and you get out of that marriage alive, I consider that a win. Everything else that you might get, your truck, your car, 50-50 split custody, all that BS, could just be icing on the cake.
Okay.
Literally, that's a win to me
Okay.
at this point.
Okay. Have you been married or divorced or both?
Yes, married and divorced.
Okay.
Yes. Children, I went through the DVIR way as well. Had a domestic violence on me.
Okay.
That was very costly. Divorced, raped, alienated from my children, and basically have been trying for years to reestablish a connection with my children as well.
Wow.
It's been very difficult, although it's decent now, and they're actually growing now too.
Okay. Okay. How old are they, if you don't mind me asking? I don't want you to give any proprietary information.
No, 22 and 25.
Okay. Okay. Would you say that they understand what's really going on? Because again, what a lot of fathers try to do, especially if their kids are young, they try to explain why mom and dad are not living under the same roof anymore. And the reason they do this a lot of times, caller, is because they're trying to save face. They don't want their kids to hate them, right? Were you in position to do that?
Correct.
Right. Okay, go ahead. You can elaborate on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the mother definitely used it against me, and she had them on her side all the way through.
Wow.
And I have been struggling to get the kids' respect back and get them in my life. The mother was a feminist. She had the court system on her side. She had the attorneys and the counselors all on her side.
Oh boy.
Basically, I was just lucky to get out of it.
Right. And you said as long as you get out alive, that is a win for you.
Yeah, so seriously, it's very painful emotionally. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of money involved, especially when you get this in your late 20s. You get married. You know, this is going back 25 years ago when I did get married. You know, I'm 10 years beyond a divorce now, and I've only discovered the red pill a year and a half ago. I was at 21 Con in October with all you guys, and it was fabulous.
Oh, good.
Awesome. I seen every speaker that I wanted to.
Okay.
And but beyond it, I did use the red pill, just a side comment, to analyze all of my behaviors in women from the beginning.
Okay.
From the first time you got your first porno mag, all the way through to now. I use you guys' information, especially Donovan. I've had you coach me before.
Okay.
Yes, it's fabulous. And every
you.
guy needs to get some kind of coaching. It doesn't matter as long as it's a man who's been red pilled.
Let me ask you one last question, caller, before we go to the next call. If you knew then what you know now, obviously, listen, you know, if your wife was a feminist, we know you wouldn't marry her. But if you knew then about the divorce process, what you do now, what would you do differently when it became clear to you that divorce was imminent? What are some of the things that you would do differently that you didn't do back then that would have maybe helped with a favorable outcome?
Well, the married red pill, some of the information there would certainly be helpful. Donovan, marriage is good. There are a lot of good things to it. There are your children, of course. You got those aspects of it. And that's what I do struggle with, you know, doing guys who are not married and they want to have kids. Guys do want to have children. Yeah. Guys do want to have, you know, that family unit because it is cool. There's a lot of great things to it. I just think they need to be highly aware of what's going on in that red pill awareness to do it. And I think it can be done. Okay. In spite of all the divorce laws, in spite of everything, I think it is worth it, red pill man, to really get married and have children. Because, you know, it's all about, you know, passing the genes forward. You know, there's a lot of good things about raising kids.
Good stuff. Well, listen, thanks for the call, area code 352. I have a feeling I know who you are. I do appreciate you calling the show, and you are the first official caller of the Redman Hotline, man. So congratulations.
Donovan, I got one more question for you.
Yeah, what you got? Go ahead.
I have a child who is graduating college, and she is thinking about going deeply into debt to go into a further study to a postgraduate.
Okay.
I am trying very hard to convince her not to go into debt, to use her degree, make some money, save it, and then follow up. I'm struggling with a lot of people around her are telling her to go for it, go for it, girl. Because she is very smart, she's very bright, and I'm the only one telling her to don't go deeply into debt. She literally will have to study continuously for the first year minimum, no working, anything like that. What kind of advice can you give a guy who's faced with a situation like that?
Yeah, that is a tough one. And I'll tell you something else too, man. And Steve, I'll let you answer this question because I think Steve would definitely need to chime in on this. But what we're going to have to understand, caller, is that how old is your daughter? She's 22, 23?
22, yeah.
Yeah, she's 22 years old. All you can do is she's already made her mind up, okay? All you can do as a father now is you can advise her. You can listen, tell her the pros and tell her the cons. Just let her, don't try to talk her out of it. She's still a young woman, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure your daughter probably, listen, we all know that daughters, when they date guys in high school that dad doesn't like, and dad says, I forbid you to date him, what do? They fall deeper in love, and then they do other stupid things. So if you try to talk your daughter, no, you absolutely should not do this, she's going to do the opposite for no other reason, but that's just what women do. Or women these days just rebel against male authority as a matter of, it's almost like an involuntary response. What I would advise you to do is simply tell her that, listen, you're going to do what you want to do. Just understand what's at stake here. You're going to be in debt. You're going to have to do nothing but study for the next year. Really think about what your options are and then give her the alternative. Listen, I'm not telling you shouldn't do it. Maybe you should use your degree. Tell her what you told us. Maybe you should use your degree, right? Save a little bit of money and then go to graduate school. You're a little bit older, a little bit more mature. If this is what you want to do, just make sure this is what you really want to do, because student debt, let her know, student debt will follow you into your 40s. That's what my advice would be. Steve, what would you advise him to do?
I would advise him to just if he's going to talk to her, just talk to her, let her make the decisions, because she's a grown woman at this point. There's not too much you can do as far as advice to a grown woman, except have her start to see tell her the cost analysis, have her sit down and make sure she just has a plan. What is your plan of attack? How are you going to pay off all this debt and things like that, to make her see a bigger picture of things? Because one thing that love your child, but one thing I would never do is I'm not going to pay off your debts. If you created it, then you need to own it and pay for it. But what you could do is sit and talk to her and let her see, okay, this is what it's going to cost. This is how long you're going to pay it. What is your plan? Because I'm not getting you out of this hole. If you're going to make this decision, which I'll support, how are you going to handle it as an adult?
Very good advice. Excellent advice, Stephen. I'll tell you something else, caller, before I let you go here and move on to area code 623. That was excellent advice by Steve, in that if you ask her, what is your plan? Talk it out with her. Sometimes what ends up happening is she starts to see the flaw in her plan. Well, my plan is to go to school, but then when I get out of school, I'm going to be $200,000 in debt. And she's going to start to see when she actually says it, when she talks it out. Listen, she may talk herself out of going to school immediately, but make sure, caller, that he sees the big picture. If you don't, then she's going to make a decision and you're going to blame yourself for it. But just like Steve said, let her know, listen, I'm your father. I love you. I'll support whatever decision you make, but you need to have a plan.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you, caller.
Love to you, man.
Quick shout outs here. Freelance Ronan, man, with the $5 super chat, says drop it to the tip jar. Here's to breaking new ground. Whiskey to Don says Donovan and the Dean deadly duo. Wow, I like that. A lot of D's in there. 914-205-5356 is the number to call to get in on the conversation. Area code 623. You're on live with the Redman Hotline. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, kind of new to your guys' group, but I got introduced to the red pill a couple months back, went through a divorce, obviously. Started off by looking up stuff on how to get through a divorce, and I ran across Richard Cooper, great guy. And then he kind of turned me on to Rollo Tomasi, and then it just started spiraling from there. So the topic as far as winning in divorce, and I've tried sharing this with so many guys. So, long story short, I'm 34, ex-wife is 31. She cheated on me with a family friend. I considered a father figure. This guy's twice her age. Yeah, obviously not a very good choice.
Sure.
But anyways, the thing that I consider it being a win, I got 50% custody.
Good.
I didn't give her any of my 401k. I got sole legal decision making over my son. I pay child support, but I'm going to modify that here in the next month or two. I'm going to adjust it down. And pretty much I kept the house and all my possessions, other than I pretty much told her, you can have anything you want inside the house, as far as decorations, sofas, whatever. You take it, it's yours. I don't care if I bought it or what. Now, my ex-wife was a stay-at-home mom, and she had it made. I worked a lot, and that's what her excuse was. I wasn't home enough. She needed attention, and I guess that justified her cheating, but whatever, I was over here grinding away, working crazy hours, providing for my family.
Let me ask you this something, caller, because you definitely got the win. How is it that you were able to get 50% custody of the kids and keep the house? Because again, I don't know what the statistics are, but I hear far more stories that are, I lost the house, the car, the kids, the dog, the goldfish. I lost everything. What about your situation do you feel helped you to get 50% custody of your kids?
Well, I've listened to you guys, but I know this might sound controversial to some because obviously there's a lot of, rage out there.
Sure.
But I'm a Christian man. And I honestly, I give it all to God. I got to be upfront. In the Bible, it says, seek wise counsel. And that's what I did. I sought wise counsel. Anybody and everybody that I could grab onto, anything from YouTube to the web, to anything. I saw what other people had made mistakes on, and I chose not to make those mistakes and protect myself. So one being this, most men lose their house because they automatically forfeit. They walk away. They're like,
yes.
You know what? Especially in my case, they walk away. They say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go get an apartment. You cheated on me. I can't live under the same roof than you, and I can't take this or whatever. That is complete garbage. Yes. I don't know how many guys I talked to said that they went through that. They end up losing the house because you're pretty much forfeiting your house at that point, and she could use that against you. You never walk away from the house. You never walk away from the house. Now, in my case, when I got my house, I was fairly young. This was about 8 years ago.
Okay.
I had saved money, and I remember one guy that was going through a divorce. He told me, bro, buy your house before you get married, because in Arizona, she can't take it away. I wasn't even married yet. But this is where that whole perspective that you guys have as far as pursuing excellence, going after your things, and then the women will come. I bought my house under my name, everything, loan, everything under my budget, my numbers, my name, or everything. Legally, she could not do anything to take it away.
All right. So the first thing you did.
So that's what.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you did, you sought wise people. The advice of wise men. Listen, that's actually pretty good advice. I'd never thought about that. And thanks for the call, area code 623. We've got 4 more callers in the queue, 754-334-917-813 in that order. What he said is absolutely 100% true. I talked about this on my show yesterday. Do not move out of your house. That could easily be characterized as abandonment, right? And not only this, if the house is also in your name, okay, if your name is on the deed or the lease, you have every right to be there as she does, okay? If she asks you to move out, don't. It's your place too. But by the same token, don't kick her out, because she'll take the kids and say you kicked her out, okay? Now, the thing is listen, if you don't move out, she might leave, but if she does leave, make sure you document that she left on her own accord and that you did not force her, right? I don't know, maybe record the conversation on how legal or illegal that is. You might want to talk to your attorney on how to establish and maybe document that she left on her own free will and volition. Not only this, if you leave or you kick her out, she'll tell the kids, well, daddy left us. She'll tell the judge he abandoned us. And if you kick her out, she'll say, daddy kicked us out. She'll tell the judge, daddy, my soon-to-be ex-husband kicked us out. What do you say to that? What do you say about that, Steve? That actually sounded like pretty damn good advice. Buy your house young and don't leave the house.
Well, yeah, but again, I'm the front of the train as preventative maintenance and stuff, and I feel like that's something a lot of guys don't do as far as themselves, and this is why they get in the situations they get in, because they allow they don't have a sense of self-worth, and they think putting a ring on someone that's disrespectful is going to change the whole entire thing of the relationship. But everything you're saying is absolutely right, and I do agree with you. And there are guys out there that will. I even know a guy out there that will teach you how to win with child support or win custody and things like that. So there are guys out there that teach that stuff, Donovan.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of which, we actually have somebody on the line.
Yes.
Area code 813. Yeah. So you teach guys about saving money and not paying child support. What can you tell our audience about that? Because I didn't know that there were guys out here that actually taught that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come on your show, and you characterize it. It almost sounded bad, but what I do is I'm a pro se consultant.
Okay. And listen, hold on real quick. When he says pro se, that means that you are representing yourself in court, just so that everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, I present myself within the venue, and I've had success not only in child support, but the custody issue. Now, the last caller did speak from Arizona, and don't forget that when it comes to issues of marriage and what have you, those are all state issues and not necessarily federal issues, but the Title 4D agency that will control the child support, which kind of caught my attention. He said he had majority decision-making, but he's paying child support. Well, interestingly enough, there's a case called Blessing versus Freestone that came out of Arizona, which stated that no one has an individual entitlement to child support. Now, I don't know what his decree states, but he may want to go back and reconsider that. But that being said, yes, we won many cases, and I say we in my persona as Greg have won many cases with child support personally for myself, as well as helping other guys get custody, time sharing, even guys who may have been previous felons or what have you.
Okay.
Your rights as a father or your rights as a father, those things are equal, and those are fundamental rights which are protected through the Constitution. It sounds a little bit easier than what sometimes the process is, but if anybody ever wants to see what I've done, and I tell everybody before they even come to me, and Dean even showed me this, because Dean was inspirational in me getting out of a lot of these groups. I was in probably about 8 or 9 men's rights groups, and Dean said, Greg, why you even bother with him? He said, you're a solutions-oriented person. I said, damn, it is right. And I just changed my perspective, and on my site it says changing perspective will change your results. I changed my perspective. I began to become more aggressive and what I was looking for within my perspective. And on my site it says change ever since.
Excellent. Now, if you would, could you repeat the name of that case in Arizona? Did you say Blessing versus Freestone?
Yes, Blessing versus Freestone.
Okay, Blessing versus Freestone. Yeah, Google that up. Yeah, Google that 1999. Talk to me a little bit, caller, about what you guys, like what kind of services that you guys offer.
Oh, wow. Almost everything. Unfortunately, I've had so many experiences, and I don't want anybody to take it lightly. I've actually won the driving without license cases. I acquired over $1 million worth of property, and a judge and a cop tried to frame me for perjury. I won that case. And if anybody wants to see it or hear me in court, I also provide those for people. So there's a thing called receipts. But if anybody wants to contact me, go to gregdoss@gregdoss.com, send me an email, and I'll send you my Dropbox information, and you can take a look at it for yourself. But it's all documented to include the court dockets. It's not like it's a secret. It's all public record anyway.
Sure, of course. Okay, excellent. Well, Greg, listen, man, I appreciate you calling. If you would, can you do? I mean, I know you're probably a busy guy. I'd actually like to keep you on the panel here for a little while if you have a few minutes. And maybe when we go through these calls, maybe you can advise what you should have done, what you maybe should have done. Do you mind doing that for maybe 15, 20 minutes?
Well, if I could just real quickly say, I'm not an attorney. I don't have a license to practice, so I don't practice law. What I do is study law and tell people what I've learned, how to gather the information.
Okay.
I don't give information as advice to apply to a specific case. There's general information regarding the law and lawful principles, is by the way, belong to the people. So use any information for educational edification only. And the reason I say that is because I want nothing else to be construed to be legal advice. If you need legal advice, I'd highly encourage you to hire a licensed, hopefully competent attorney, not one of the many bar associated attorneys that get disbarred every year and be legally advised. With that being said, I appreciate the offer, and I'll hold on.
Excellent. Yeah. My guess is that you've probably said that a few times. You probably recited that a few times. Let's stay with the calls, man. Area code 754. You're on live with the Red Man Hotline. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Doing good, man.
Awesome. Donovan, the Dean, I got to say, I admire you guys. I'm a little fidgety from calling because it's like talking to my year-old right now. I mean, I love your show, Donovan. I watch it every evening religiously.
I appreciate it.
My situation, well, not my situation, what I've been through. I'm 29 years old, divorced for 3 years. I have a 3-year-old son. I was married for 1 year. Actually, divorce was finalized. The ink was dried on the paper 2 weeks after our first anniversary.
Wow.
Right?
Holy shit.
The advantage that I had is that she was absolutely not prepared to get a divorce. And I know that for a fact because the conversation that led to our divorce was her telling me, how can we fix this? And I was like, listen, we've been together for 3 years. There have been no improvement. There's no fixing this, right? It's over. Like now, I made a promise not to be with you for life, and I'll be there. And that was when I had my blue bill mindset still. But
so do you have custody? No, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
Now I was telling her, like, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way of fixing this, right? And then she walked out that night, took my son with her, and sent me a text message that she was going to her mother. Now we have 50-50 custody.
Okay.
How did that work out is because the 3 years that we were together, I was the only one working, provided for the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the two of us at the time, because my son wasn't born then. And she wasn't working. She kept on saying that she was going to get a job. She was going to get a job. She was going to get a job. 3 years that never happened. I should have realized that way sooner. But I was able to hire an attorney for myself.
Okay.
And she couldn't afford to get one for herself.
Okay.
Which was an advantage on my part, right?
Sure.
Now, one thing, and I was listening to your podcast yesterday, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And a lot of the things you said are on point. Like the attorney said, the first time I sat down to her, he said, do not reach out to her unless you can prove exact record of what was discussed.
That's exactly right.
Do not do phone calls unless you both agree. Because if you both don't agree for the phone call to be recorded and presented in court if needed, she can reject it.
Okay.
No. So do not do phone calls. Everything via text message, and keep record of all the text message. If you spend anything, keep the record of keep the receipt. And what I did is every time I spent, I took a picture of the receipt.
Good.
And saved that on the cloud.
Good.
Right. And all of that it's not even to try to get ahead. It's to just make sure that you don't get taken advantage of.
Absolutely.
Because 50-50 custody is not guaranteed for the man.
No,
right?
Hell no.
And I only was able to get 50-50 custody because I was able to show to the court that I am invested in my son and I want to be there. I'm doing the best I can for him, and I want to do the best I can for him.
Excellent.
Right. Now,
sorry about that. Thanks for the call, area code 754. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've got callers that have been waiting for a while. One thing, and I want to go to Greg first here. One thing that he said that got my antennas up, he said my wife was not prepared for the divorce. Okay. And a lot of guys are like, well, I don't want to blindside her with a divorce, but guess what? When your wife, see, here's the thing, Greg, and you probably understand this too, is that when your wife serves you with divorce papers, she made that decision a long time ago. When she serves you with divorce papers, my friend, she has all of her ducks in a row. She's got her apartment. She's probably got a new lease on her car to maybe make her payment lower. She's got a boyfriend, or either that, or she's got some sort of plan to stay in the house. She knew that this was coming. So I think one thing that worked to this guy's big time advantage is that he blindsided his wife. She didn't see it coming. She didn't have the money for the divorce, and he managed to get out of there with his kids and his sanity. I guess with little to no child support. What say you about that, Greg?
Well, you're right about that. Most of the time, women don't just up and leave. They're spontaneous, but they're not stupid in their spontaneity. But don't forget that you have the exact same rights to any child, particularly going through a marriage that the wife does. A lot of times, men live in the world of myths. So you have a lot more power than you think you have, and there's plenty of case law on that.
Good. And Greg, listen, case law is powerful. Listen, you drop that case law, Blessing versus what was that? Freestone. Blessing versus Freestone. Guys, in your state, case law, what case law is, and again, this isn't legal advice, case law is precedent, okay? And when I say case law, what you need to do, if you think you're getting screwed over, you need to look in your state, go to Westlaw, any sort of legal service where they document every case. Case law is precedent. And if I'm not mistaken, Greg, case law can be used in family court and in divorce court. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
Case law is in fact precedent, and that's what they usually refer to as common law.
Right.
And you also have whatever the state statutes may be or codes as they relate to marriage.
Excellent. So again, remember, guys, you just like Greg says, you have as many rights. Now, of course, a lot of guys don't exercise
right.
Steve, listen, this guy's advantage is that he blindsided his wife. She didn't have the money. She didn't see it coming. She says, hey, listen, what can I do to fix this? He says, nah, chick, like, this is it. This is over with. What do you say about that?
No, I'm fine with that. And I that's what I like to get more guys to start thinking about. I love what he did. He got his stuff together. He knew he wanted out, so he started preparing himself for getting out. A lot of guys, unfortunately, say they want to get out, Donovan, but then what they do is they tip their hand to their opponent. You know, I'm not happy. I don't think this is working out. Tip her hand. Then she's like, okay, well, if you really want to get out, okay, let's play. And, you know, by the time while he's looking for marriage counseling and Dr. Phil, she's talking to lawyers and getting her stuff prepared. He didn't say anything to her, and I think that was great. And if you're going to get out of this, you need to kind of do it on a quiet thing, get out and roll, man.
There it is. Listen, just like hey, you have to be very stealthy about it. One last thing before we get to the next caller, area code 334-917-623-520-813 in that order. One thing that he absolutely said that I talked about yesterday, document everything, guys. Document everything. The thing is this, man, is you have to document that you still care about your kids, right? He understood that men, we are at a disadvantage in a court of law. Now, of course, Greg is right. We do have rights, but we all know how the gynocentric laws work. That's how that works. Guys, do what the caller said. Document phone calls, text messages, email correspondence. What this does, guys, is that eliminates the he said, she said. And remember not to give her anything to use against you, because guess what, guys? She will be documenting everything as well. When you're with your kids, just like he did, keep all of the receipts of things that you've bought for them, clothes, food, school supplies, etc. This shows that, just like he said, he literally said what I say yesterday. This shows that you're a good father who is taking care of your children. The reason why that this is important is that as soon as your wife files for a divorce, on the real side, she starts the smear campaign immediately. She's going to try to paint you to the public and the courts as a deadbeat dad who doesn't give a shit about his kids. And she does this for the sole purpose of getting full custody, which entitles her to child support. Okay? Women know that what they say holds much more weight in both the court of law and the court of public opinion. And they know that the court of public opinion unfortunately weighs heavily. It heavily influences the court of law. They will say whatever they have to in order to curry favor with the public and the family court judge. So when she says, well, he threatened me, you can show screen grabs of the text conversation to prove you're innocent, right? When she says, well, he never does anything with the kids, you can show all the pictures and videos of you having fun with the kids. When he says, well, he never buys anything for the kids, you can produce those receipts and show that you've been paying for school clothes, doctor's visits, etc. The court of public opinion and the court of law don't believe that anything we as men say. So, but they believe everything a woman says, regardless of lack of evidence. The only way to win one of the only ways to win in the court of law and against a smear campaign is to document everything. What say you, Greg?
Oh, I would agree. I think I'd be a little cautious though on the recording without somebody knowing.
There we go. There we go. Yes.
There may be some disclaimers for, letting somebody know that they're being recorded.
Absolutely. Good catch. Good catch on that one. Shout out to Javon Smiley with the $20 super chat. He said it's for the Kardashian Cochran divorce fund. CJ Mutter with the $5 super chat. He says, in your experience, do most men's families support saving the marriage while the woman's family... Wait, hold on. He says, in most experiences, do you think men's families support saving the marriage while the female's families help detonate the marriage? That's actually a very good question. And I think that the answer is probably yes, because men have much more to lose and women have much more to gain. What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Steve?
Yeah, I'm thinking about detonating as soon as she disrespects me. I mean, I just don't have the tolerance, Donovan, to sit around there and beg somebody to do something they should be doing from the get-go.
Right.
And if her parents, see, the thing about parents is they're going to side with the child, number one.
Of course.
And if the parents, but they always do that. So you got to look at it as, you know what's best for me, Donovan.
Hey, listen, that's what it comes down to. What's best for you? You have to be unabashedly selfish.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, Greg says he agrees.
I agree with that one.
Listen, when you're selfish,
Absolutely.
When you're a selfish male, you tend to repel a lot of selfish females. 914-205-5356. Let's go back to the phone lines. Area code 334. You're on live with the Red Man Hotline. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. I'm in my early 50s. I was married for 20 years. And have been divorced for 4 years now with 2 adult sons. And what happened with us was my ex-wife was she still works full-time for a church in the area. And what I found out was she was running around screwing a bunch of the guys at church.
Oh my God. Jesus.
And so the thing that helped me was, I got my ducks in a row. I talked to a lawyer, found out what all of the ins and outs were as far as how I should prepare and protect myself. And then I was fortunate in that I had plenty of evidence, some documented evidence of what she was doing. And I compiled all that together, and she knew I had it.
Wow.
And so she wanted me to leave the house, and I said, I'm not even leaving my bedroom because I didn't do anything wrong, and I've worked hard for this house, And I was, by that time, I'm making 6 figures, and I've got a lot to lose financially.
Yes.
So eventually, she ended up leaving the house. And in my state, if somebody moves out of the marital home, I have a right to change the locks, which I did.
Wow.
And
yes.
Yeah. And so when we got together and started talking about the terms of the divorce, I said, look, I'm not going to contest this. If you want to go ahead and file, go ahead and file. I'm not paying any of your legal fees. I'm not going to be out any money. And if you try to come after the house, my retirement, my bank account, anything, then I'm going to fight you with everything that I've got, because custody was no longer an issue because our sons were grown. But there was still the financial part of it, which I busted my ass working for this life and this house and this family. Right. I wasn't about to give any of that up. And, she, because I had the evidence, and because, she makes her living off of working at a church, I kind of had her between a rock and a hard place. And so I just said, you can take your your stuff. So she left with her car, her bank account, her retirement, and a little bit of furniture. And that was it. And, by having my ducks in a row, by staying in the house, and by having that evidence and being willing to use it and not, try to play the placating role of trying to get her back and everything. She just said, yeah, fine. She knew I was a fighter anyway. So
yeah. She wasn't going to mess with you, dude.
For it. That's right. So, I mean, for me, it worked out for all of those reasons. And, I'm not necessarily advocating saying yes or no that other people should do that. I don't know the legalities there. And I work in IT, so I was able to gather a lot of things on her that she didn't realize I had.
Very nice.
But in the end, it worked out for me. So it can, you have to fight, and you may have to, kind of get a little dirty behind the street bus sometimes, but you can make it work for you.
Good stuff, man.
At least it worked out for me. So
good.
Great call. Area code 334. Holy smoke. See, again, what all of these guys have in common that we've talked to is that they had their ducks in a row, right? Area code 754, Lionson with the $10 super chat. Just to add on to what he said he wanted to say the battle is not over once the ink dries on the paper. It is war. Any financial improvement can be used against you. Do not advertise your life on social media. Steve, this brings me to my next point, and Greg, I think you'll agree. Listen, when divorce is imminent, deactivate all social media. Gentlemen, divorces can be won and lost on social media. I'm here to tell you. Women and their families.
Absolutely agree.
Greg co-signs. Your future ex-wife and her family, they will have your Facebook, your Instagram, and your Twitter on surveillance. And dude, and the reason they're doing this, they're looking to spot anything that could help her and hurt you, or both. And guys, listen. Don't get me wrong. I understand this. I know it's tempting to show her that you're doing fine without her, which you're not, because you want it to look like that, which is understandable. But it's a lose-lose situation, right? You post a picture of you and a hot girl you're fucking, she'll claim you cheated on her with that girl, which makes you look like a bad husband and father. Then she'll question if you brought her around her children, right? You post a picture of yourself on vacation. How did you pay for that? Post a picture of you buying something nice. Well, where'd you get the money from, right? You post something of what you're doing, and she'll say something witty like, well, if you're doing this and that and the other, then why can't you send money for the kids? This is that social media thing. You post a selfie of you in your house. She might pick up on something in the background that could hurt your case. This is what they do. Here's something else, guys. They will also use social media to start a dialogue about the divorce, and she will bait you into saying something stupid so she can turn it around and say you threatened her or something to that effect. And listen, Greg, I'm sure you've seen it too, Steve. We've all seen these knockdown, drag-out fights on Facebook between, soon-to-be divorced couples or people that are breaking up with all the mudslinging involved. And if you get into that nonsense as a man, it is always a lose-lose situation for you. To avoid all that nonsense, guys, deactivate everything and tell your friends and family. Try to tell them not to pay any attention to anything that she or her families are saying. Plus, here's another thing. When she starts running her smear campaign, guys, guess what? She can't tag you in those posts. Not that her friends and family won't see your name, but if you're off social media, it has much less of an impact on them and you because you're not seeing and hearing about it. And another thing is a side note here, tell your family and friends not to tell you anything about what she's posting on social media. When it's over and the dust is settled and everything is agreed on and in court and taken care of, then you can jump back on social media and post pictures of you and your hotter, younger, tighter woman. Steve, what are your thoughts on that? We're coming to you next at 917.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I feel like if you're going to talk to somebody, get off of social media, but you can create, Google or Hangouts and things like that privately, where you can keep in touch with your close friends. For instance, if Greg was getting divorced, hypothetically, if he was married, getting divorced, he could have a private thing where he could reach out to you that's in Nevada, me that's in Texas, where we can talk behind the scenes and not put anything in front of the scenes. And also, one thing you need not to do is watch out for her baiting you. Right. She may post pictures of her with other guys. She may post pictures of saying or slandering you, but then she may have other people intentionally agreeing and slandering you even more, which is going to try to poke your cage to make you want to come out and defend your position. Don't do it. Don't even go on her page. Keep your eyes forward. We always say, keep your eyes forward, Donovan.
Listen, Greg, truer words never spoken. Greg, what are your thoughts on social media?
No, generally, women have to pull you into the fight, and guys have to be really careful of those things. Take great notes. In fact, keep a journal. Whenever you see certain things come, you should keep a running journal anyway, because your mind fails you, but your ability to read tends not to. So if you get a good journal, you always keep a running diary of what's going on, because trust me, these chicks do this stuff. Women know how to fight dirtier than men. And guys, you got to get away from this notion of thinking you have to be the one who's the more honorable person.
Oh my God.
A fight is a fight. You're there to win.
Real talk. Guys, if you're looking to kick even more of life's ass, you need to get over to 21university.com. 21 University is a video streaming service for men that provides the best videos in the world on self-improvement, dating, health, philosophy, and much more, all in a tightly focused, perfectly designed, distraction-free environment. 21 University will also help you take control of your dating life, get healthy and grow strong, create wealth, earn more, and master your career, and of course, become the author of your life to become your ideal man. Go to 21university.com now to get a free month. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Area code 917. Thanks for holding. You're on live with the Red Man Hotline. You go ahead. Yes, 917. Are you with us? 917. Going once? Going twice?
Hey, Donovan.
Oh, there he
Hey,
is.
Steve. Guys, you guys are great. Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Yep.
Hey.
Okay, yeah, 917's got to call back. That's a major, major delay. Let's go to area code 520. You're on live with the Red Man Hotline. Go ahead.
Hey, Donovan, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. So I have a question about something that's not really talked about on a lot of these chats. What it is that I am someone who is a single father of 3, and I have full custody, uncontested.
Wow.
So, yeah. Ryan actually talked about it last week and said, obviously, yeah, I still have intermittent contact with her.
Okay.
But my question, how do I keep that?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, 813. What was your question again?
How do I keep it where, my kid's mom doesn't want to get custody?
Oh,
Because,
so
I've talked to her and she, she's abandoned them and I'm taking care of them by myself.
okay.
And
So if I'm understanding you correctly,
how do I?
so hang on real quick. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you want to know how to make it so that your ex-wife does not want to sue for full custody?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And it's not even about full custody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, it's,
You lost 520. Greg, what's your...
Yeah, I had a bad connection.
Yeah, he had a really bad connection. It
I didn't
sounds...
understand the question. I
Yeah,
didn't
go
understand the question. Is he saying how does he keep her from getting custody, or how does he make her want to be involved? 'Cause I didn't understand the question.
I think it was getting custody. I think it's how can he prevent her from getting custody?
I think he asked how to make her not want to come after him for custody because she abandoned. If she abandoned him, then I think that looks pretty bad in the court of law.
It's always coming. What's the state? What
Area
state
code
is he? What state is he
520.
residing?
Yeah. Let's see. Listen, my area code is 775. I live in Philly. So area code 502 or 520. Let's see where that's at. It really depends. Oh, that's in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. Wow, a lot of people calling from Arizona today.
Well, the thing is, if she's already abandoned the child and you already have custody, it's kind of hard to say you're going to keep her from wanting it again. That's a difficult question to say how you can keep her from wanting it. That doesn't even sound good in asking. If she decides that she may want to become involved with the children, then she has every right to come back because she's always the parent.
Right.
Unless she at some point in time has signed over her rights to parent, whether married, single, and divorced. That goes to one of your other questions about men's rights, and that's Stanley versus Illinois. But the thing is, you just have to do what you have to do as a father, and don't worry so much about her. You can always, if she comes back when you have a chance to challenge it, just tell the court that, hey, listen, she's done this.
He abandoned.
This
She
is what I
abandoned him.
want to do. It's just that way. You set the provisions because he's already the father, right? He's already the custodial parent. From what I understood, he already has custody of the 3 kids, right?
Yeah. He said he's got full custody because it was uncontested.
Well, then that's an issue. That's a bridge to cross when you get there. If you want to prepare, just be prepared to say, what's that called, visitation, supervised visitation, and those other conditions you can put upon the children and the mother's reacquaintance, so to speak.
Okay.
But like I say, look at the laws of the state, and you'll. And I'm very familiar with the laws in Florida. The other stuff is going to be kind of comparable. I just don't know the statutes to give you
Sure.
for your state. But if you go to Chapter 61 in Florida, you can find certain things in that set of statutes, and then Google the exact same thing for your state and the comparable statutes. And
Oh, there you go. Oh, wow. That's actually, I would never have thought of that. Good stuff. Good advice, man. Dude, man, thanks for getting him on, Steve. I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah, he's on point. He knows his stuff, man.
Hell yeah, he does. All right, let's go. Oh, we're going to stay in Florida. Area code 813. You're on live with the Red Man Hotline. Go ahead.
That may be me.
Actually,
I'm 813.
no, there's another one. 813, you there?
What's the numbers? 813-570-813-397.
No, it's actually a number that ends in 1526. But all right, never mind. All right,
Okay.
let's go back to area code 917. Area code 917. I think there's a major delay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, you're responding
there's a
much more
delay.
quickly. Okay, very good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, and there's very little delay now. So I
Okay,
think we
great.
can communicate.
Great.
So what's up, man?
Guys, you guys are great. Became Red Pill aware through Rich Cooper.
Okay.
I have custody of my two sons. Married 18 years. I served the divorce papers first. The kids were old enough to make a decision, so that helped me out.
How old
Plus,
were they?
I was the one who was.
How old were they when they were old enough to make a decision?
15.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
15 and 16.
Okay.
So it was a long battle. I want to give advice to guys. There's a lot of women that will talk to your ex and they will tell them all the dirty tricks that they could do to you. One of the big things that they do is they try to get you out of the house. So they drum up some kind of harassment or some kind of story that you're a monster. So what you do is, what I did was I bought a body cam. So I was wearing a police body cam because I didn't have the opportunity to put cameras in the house.
Okay.
So she kept constantly, trying to play that, oh, you're hostile routine. So I used it. My attorney said it was fine. So I was okay. She didn't like it, which was fine by me. But
sure, of course not.
I also think that guys should be prepared and not have this, mentality that women are going to fight fair. They're not going to fight fair. Everything you said the other day, Donovan, on your show is exactly right. Keep notes. Don't talk to their family.
Right.
The family will try to talk to you to try to see what kind of information they can get from you. You can't talk to them. You can't trust anyone. They're friends, family. You got to stay away from them.
Everybody's the enemy.
Rely on your family and your friends. Also get a good attorney.
Of course.
They're hard to find, but you got to do your research. Keep notes. I kept a journal. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of the legwork too. Don't think because you have an attorney, you're going to be okay.
Right.
You got to do a lot of the legwork. And, just stay aware of everything. It's a very confusing, trying time. You worry about money. You worry about the attorneys, dropping you if you run out of money. They are definitely waiting for you to slip up, but they will, if you get somebody who's good, they'll work with you.
Now the body cam thing.
But yeah, I'm sorry?
Yeah, the body cam thing. I'm very interested in the body cam thing. Now, area code 917, you're in New York. Now, Greg, you're in Florida, and I don't know if this is a law that's universal, because I think we established at the top of the show that if you're going to record a phone call, both parties have to be notified. Both parties have to know the phone call's being recorded.
Cam.
Does that same thing with body cam or no?
No, not for body cam or for video, because with video, so long as you don't sell it for the sake of enrichment, if you sell it for enrichment, then the parties who are involved have a right for compensation. In fact, if you think about it, remember all those, there was like a run of women with these old sex tapes, and they were mad that dudes were recording them getting smashed, and then they started selling the sex tapes. Well, as long as they give the woman a part of the proceeds, that's all good and fine and dandy.
Listen, what is happening right now, guys? That is a game changer. You mean to tell me?
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that audio, a phone call, is ill? You cannot.
Yes.
You can't record a phone call if both people don't know about it, but you
No.
can record video on a body cam. That's that's
Yeah.
even better.
Wear it.
That
I
may
used
be-
to
that
wear
may
it
be a-
all
that may
the
be a-
time.
that may
I
be
used to
an
wear.
interstate commerce issue. You know, it's a communications issue. That's different than a recording.
Wow, that's
Donovan,
the game changer. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I used to wear it all the time. All the time.
Wow.
Even if I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom,
Yes.
I had it on.
Yes.
It was because you never knew when they were going to pop up and try to make a fight or start an argument. And in New York, if they call the cops, 9 times out of 10,
72 hours. That's right.
And you got to be lucky that if they don't take you,
Yeah,
so
of course.
it's kind of the thing that they use. Women are dirty. They use that game plan all the time. I've had plenty of friends who were going through divorces too, and that was the MO. Women, I guess they have this dirty playbook that they use.
They all use the same goddamn playbook, don't they?
Seems like it.
Yeah. They play to win. They play to win. No, they
Hell
play to
yeah.
win, and we don't. That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
problem.
There it is.
Right.
Go out there.
There it is.
And guys have to remember that this is a war. You can't think of it as, you want to be amicable. You want to do the right thing, but
she
they
doesn't.
come at you. They'll cut your throat if they can.
Hell yeah. Listen, 917, this was the call of the night, man. Thank you for calling in, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Steve.
All right, brother.
Oh, the body cam. How much is, dude, think about this. And a lot of guys are probably thinking, well, geez, how much is a GoPro? How much is a body cam? $200-$300? For real? Listen, you're going to bitch and moan over $200-$300 when that could mean the difference between $500 a month in child support and alimony and $2,500? I had no idea. Greg, that's the game changer. Am I wrong?
Well, no, anything that's going to help you, you're never wrong. You're never wrong when you're trying to win. You're wrong when you're not trying to get
Right.
I don't
right.
get that.
Something
I'm
else.
always trying to win, whether it's an ant race or a pissing contest.
You got to be competitive, right?
Absolutely.
Let me do this. I actually had a 917 said something just now that really kind of that got my attention. And he says, guys try to be amicable. And a lot of times, Greg, you probably experienced this yourself and heard of this and heard of guys trying to be amicable. The reason why they're trying to be amicable is because they're holding on hope. They're holding on to that last bit of hope that she might not want to come back. Guys, I'm here to tell you, this is the number one thing I talked about when preparing yourself for divorce. Accept the fact that she is gone. A lot of men make the mistake of thinking that there's a chance to reconcile. Put that out of your mind. Dude, she's fucking other guys. She's already got a boyfriend. She's already moved on. You are delaying the inevitable. And sometimes she'll make you think there's a chance, but she's setting you up. That is a trap. She's setting you up to get more money, more child support, more of your shit. Do not let her tempt you with the possibility of reconciliation. It is false. What do you say about that, Steve?
Well, yeah, I don't. Again, dog, I'm all about preventative maintenance here, man. I see what you're saying, and all this stuff could be avoided with preventative maintenance. For instance, us men, I can assume all three of us on here, when we're in relationships, we are prepared for that time when we'll get rid of them. We're already prepared. Not to say we're going to get rid of them right now.
Strategy. Yes.
Yeah, but we have our exit strategy already in place, even while things are great. Everything's like sunshine and rainbows. But see, that's the difference. A lot of guys get caught up in the love relationship and not the respect relationship. I don't want your love. Listen, you can love me all you want. I love me, but I don't need your love. I need your respect over love. And that's the problem. A lot of these guys, Donovan, are going into love relationships. They're going in by their feelings and how she makes him feel and how he makes her feel. and they're not being, wait a second, they're not being guarded like you, myself, and a Greg over here, where I don't care about your love. I just want your respect. And in the day I don't get it, which 9 times out of 10, guys, is before she says I do.
Damn right.
She's gone. So you won't even have to worry about it. But a lot of guys, they love and they're like, well, a ring is going to make it better. A baby's going to make it better. Be buying her house is going to make it better. Be buying her clothes and shoes is going to make it better. Man. Yeah, putting a rug over a problem, brother.
Hey, listen. You don't go buy a Chihuahua and come back 3 days later expecting to have a tiger. They are what they are when you find them.
Oh,
trust
wow. Wow. Dude, Greg is a red pill guy, man.
Yeah, Greg on the red, dog.
Shit, man. Listen, Greg, thank you very much for calling in. And listen, thanks for the time, man. I'm dead serious. The information that you have provided tonight is invaluable. You charge for your services, and I appreciate you coming on here and giving us almost an hour of your time for free, man. Anything you need from us, you just let us know.
Well, just go to thegregdogs.com if you have any thoughts, comments. We do everything from child custody to shadowing attorneys if you happen to get one, but we do more teaching than anything else. And we definitely encourage you for men to be men. Through all those damn myths and all this brand new fangled ways of trying to tell men to think like women and all that bull crap, man. You're a man. Be proud of it and never be apologetic about fighting and defending yourself.
Man, listen, truer words never spoken. Greg, send Steve all your information. I'm gonna make sure that your information gets put in the comments of this video. I'm also gonna give you I'm gonna put a link on. I'm gonna put your link on my website and on the Donovan Sharpe mobile app. Man, I think a lot of guys could benefit from getting information from you.
Hey, no, I definitely appreciate it. Anytime. It's all about the man. All right.
Better believe it.
Y'all be easy. Appreciate you all.
Take care, man.
Thank you, man.
Dude, Greg came in here and dropped the he dropped the absolute truth, Steve.
For opening show, man, it's how we gotta do it.
Like, man, come on, man. You should have told me that before, man. You got me over here tripping like, what the fuck? You mean there's more than one of these motherfuckers? Shout out to Lion Sin with the $10 super chat. He says the woman you marry is not the one you divorce. They turn into absolute monsters. They'll use anything and everything against you, your kids, your family, your beliefs. Another $5 super chat. He says, my ex-wife was very submissive and seductive in our one-on-one conversations and would turn around and serve me with all kinds of lawsuits. There you go, man.
Yeah.
There you go. That was her with the temptation of getting back together. You got, and again, once and 70% of divorces, 70% of divorces are initiated by women, by females. Guys, if she wants out, she wanted out a long time ago. There was no turning back. Don't take the bait. Gentlemen, the 21 Convention Patriarch Edition is just 2 weeks away. This is the first and only event for fathers by fathers that has a strong red pill influence. Learn to take control of your household, right? Learn to maintain control of your family and be the strong patriarchal head of household you were born to be. Learn how to raise strong sons and feminine daughters. Talk to you guys can talk to red pill fathers like Hunter Drew, Rollo Tomasi, Elliot Hulse, and of course our own Steve the Dean Williams. Pardon me. Most of all, you will learn to lead your wife through masculine dominance and lead your children through nurturing and discipline. Guys, become the father and husband worthy of respect and submission. And get your ass down to Orlando from May 3rd to May 5th. There are only a few tickets left, gentlemen. The 21convention.org is where you need to go. You are listening to the first edition of the Redman Hotline. Dude, it has been one hell of a show. We've got about 45 minutes to go. Again, the phone lines are open, 914-205-5356. I'm going to continue down my list of things that men can do to increase their odds of winning a divorce. In other words, not getting taken to the cleaners. And I want to get your take on this one, Steve. And this is don't agree to anything. Don't verbally agree to anything. Don't agree via text. Don't agree via email. What she's going to do, what your future ex-wife is going to do, she's going to try to appeal to your sense of fairness, right? Hey, listen, let's do this amicably. Where's your fairness? She's going to try to appeal to your provider instinct. Like the reconciliation, guys, she's doing this to set you up. You want to know why? She knows you still love her. She knows you still love the kids, okay? She will use those things to attempt to get you agree to certain things to get more shit for herself. Guys, I'm here to tell you, just like Greg said, all these callers said, women are selfish as fuck. They'll use any and all techniques to get as much as they can out of you, legally or otherwise. Don't fall for the guilt trip stuff either, guys. What, you don't love your kids? You don't want to be a good father? This is why you need to limit your communication with her in the first place. Watch what you say, watch what you write, watch what you text to begin with. Again, I don't know the laws, but I'm pretty sure that kind of thing could be used against you in a court of law. Dude, she could show a text message that you sent that said that you've agreed to give her $1,000 a month for child support, right? She could use an email that said you agreed to pay the health insurance. She could record a phone conversation, or she might wear a GoPro herself that you agreed to let her have the house or give her full custody. Don't agree to anything, guys. Don't give her anything. Anything you give her, anything you relinquish needs to be done through your attorney. And guys, don't buy into her threats either. Don't listen. Women are quick to say, listen, you guys, you know how the laws are. They're going to give me the house. They're going to give me the cars, the kid. They're going to give me half your paycheck. They're going to give me your pension. So you may as well do it anyway. Guys, I'm here to tell you, she doesn't know one way or the other. That's why she's trying to get you to agree with it. Right. Anything she gets should be court ordered and negotiated through your attorneys. What you need to do is communicate with her through with the mindset that she is trying to fuck you over.
Yes.
Don't try to be the good guy. Don't try to be fair. Don't try to be amicable. Too many men get caught up in looking like the bad guy, Steve, which is understandable because women are experts at smear campaigns. Don't agree to anything. She will fuck you. What say you, Steve?
Well, and what y'all guys got to understand is that a lot of these women come into all this knowing how to control or pull your strings. They've known this since they first met you. They know how to make you feel happy. They know how to guilt you. They know how to make you feel bad. But on top of that, they know they're the kings of learning, like Donovan said, using the kids in situations to try to guilt you to feel sorry for her. They're the gator tears. There's the poor me. I'll live on the street. I'm going to struggle and all these other things. Like Donovan said, and what we continue to try to push to you men out here, it's very important. As a man, I am a man. And like Donovan said, if we need to talk, don't talk to me. Do not accept her text messages. Do not accept her phone calls. If she comes knocking on your door or anything like that, you jot that down. You take notes, do whatever, take a photo, timestamp it, do whatever you can, but stay away from her. I know sometimes a lot of you guys feel like when they try to use the kids, they're not using the kids for good reason. They're using the kid to guilt you, to make you feel a little bit more, feel bad about yourself. Like you're doing harm to your kids by not taking care of mom or not doing the necessary things she wants done. And like, again, she's smiling in your face with her hand out, with her right hand out. But in her backhand, she's got a knife or a goddamn bazooka, and you got to be careful. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. Don't let the gator tears fool you. Don't let the sob stories fool you. And listen, I know most of you guys who are dealing with this love your kids. This is not about your kids, so don't allow her to utilize that as a pawn, using the children as a pawn to get what she wants from you. Do not cut off all contact, period, Donovan.
One other possibility that you missed. Listen, she could have a bazooka, she could have a knife, but more than likely in her left hand, she probably has another man's dick in her hand. That's probably what she has.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Right, hold on. Oh, there we are. I lost my place. Here's something else, guys. You need to be careful what you say, what you write. Okay? Divorce is emotional, right? This is understandable. But again, this is where she'll try to sort of reconcile or give you the impression that she's trying to reconcile. But you have to understand, guys, anything you say, anything you write, anything you text can and could be used against you in a court of law, right? Listen, what's the first thing a police officer says to somebody, Steve, when they're arresting them? When they put the handcuffs, what's the first thing a cop says to a suspect?
What do you mean? What do you mean as far as who did it or the question?
You're under arrest for blah, 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 blah. What does he say next?
Oh, you have the right. You mean the right to remain silent?
You have the right to remain silent. Guys, we let that go in one ear and out the other because we hear it all the time. We hear it on TV. We hear it on the news. When the police officer tells you that you have the right to remain silent, he's telling you you have the right to shut the fuck up. You have the right to exercise your Fifth Amendment right not to say anything to incriminate yourself. Okay? This is the mentality that you need to have when dealing with your soon-to-be ex-wife. So, for example, if you say, okay, fine, I'll let you have custody, guys, she's going to use that and say you agreed to it. I don't know if that would stand on its own grounds to give her custody, but it certainly wouldn't help your case. Right? Let's say you go on some emotional tirade, right? Oh, I can't believe he did this to me. She'll use that and say you threatened her. Oh, I feared for my life. He was very loud and looked very murderous. I thought he was going to kill me, right? You might fuck up and tell her about like a side business or some sort of additional income stream. You might inadvertently say, all right, well, listen, I'll pay for Johnny's doctor appointment when my Patreon money comes in. She's going to use that. She's going to use that, and the court will investigate that source of income to paint you as dishonest, and that will add child support. Now, if you really need to communicate with her, do just like Greg Doss said. GregDoss.com, guys. That is GregDoss. Greg Doss. Okay, that's Golf Romeo Echo Golf. Okay. Delta Oscar Sierra Sierra.com. GregDoss.com. And I think he would agree with this. If you really need to communicate with her, you need to get a third-party arbiter to arbitrate all of your communications or your attorney to make sure that there's no mistake in what was said. What are your comments on that, Steve? About never agreeing to, or about being careful about what you write and what you say?
Well, yeah, you always got to be careful, especially of not only writing but what you say, but also be careful around the kids. There are times that she will bring the kids around or guilt the kids, mommy this and mommy that, and daddy doesn't like you and daddy's the bad person. And then they could have a disagreement or something, and then she will be able to use the kids to say, hey, you know what? Daddy was yelling at mommy. Daddy was upset at mommy, and all mommy tried to do was talk. So you've got to be very, very careful in all this. But most of all, for those who are not married, you've got to do the preventative maintenance as well, Donovan, because you can prevent all of this from happening if you just start being more aware of things.
Yeah, listen, Richard Cooper calls this sleepwalking, right? And listen, we've all been guilty of it. You just kind of take for granted that things are kind of okay, whatever. And then before you know it, you're being served with divorce papers. And then you're like, wait a minute, why is my wife acting like this? Because you didn't vet her and you weren't paying attention. Guys, don't sleepwalk. Pay the fuck attention. You just mentioned something here, Steve, that is very, very important with regards to your children. And to this, I say, when you're in the process of divorce, make sure you stay in contact with your children. Like I said, your soon-to-be ex-wife, she is going to start that smear campaign. She's going to talk shit about you. She's going to lie about you. Do not do the same thing, guys. And what could end up happening? They could go back and tell her, and she'll probably ask them, well, what did daddy say about me? Dude, listen, here's another thing. Don't ask your kids about what she's up to. Don't ask them about what she's saying about you. If they start to tell you, hey, daddy, mommy said this about you, tell them, listen, I don't need to hear that stuff. If you talk shit about her, she will use that against you. Okay. But make sure, on the other hand, guys, you have to make sure your children know that you love them and show them that you love them. You need to communicate to them that the divorce is not their fault. If they ask, well, why did mommy and daddy split up? Tell them, listen, it's complicated. It's nobody's fault. It's not your fault. And leave it at that. Maybe, listen, I'll explain it when you're older, but we both still love you and it's nobody's fault. If they ask you whose fault it was, tell them it's nobody's fault. Guys, this is where you take the high road, okay? And here's another thing that I'd like to point out here, Steve. And you have children. Kids aren't stupid, man. They're not. They see things. Mom may influence them to some degree with what they say, but single mothers, they are terrible. Single mothers are selfish. They behave badly. And kids pick up on this stuff pretty easily. If you are the parent who acts responsibly, if you're the parent who acts rationally, if you're the parent who doesn't talk shit about the other parent, they're going to see it for themselves. You guys got to understand, you have to give your kids a little more credit as far as their intelligence is concerned. They know the difference between a good parent and a bad parent, guys. They might not realize it right away, but they will down the road. What they'll do is they'll replay everything in their minds, and then they'll act accordingly. What's going to happen is and here's another thing, Steve, I'm sure you heard of this too. Your ex is going to try to spoil them by buying them things, giving them money, not disciplining them, telling the courts that you're mean because you discipline them. She's going to do everything in her best interest as far as the courts are concerned, but she's never going to do what's in the kids' best interest because she is using them as a pawn, using them as a means to an end. Guys, children pick up on this stuff. They're not stupid. Listen, do they like the toys, the gifts, and the ice cream and not having to go to bed early and get whatever they want? Sure. But when they see mom's face on the phone all the time, and when they see mom not paying attention to them, when they see mom who has a third boyfriend in the last 3 months, they get the picture very quickly. All you can do, just like Steve said, just like area code 754 said, just be the best father you can be. Listen, make sure you stay on your P's and Q's, have your ducks in a row, and things will take care of themselves. What do you think about what are your thoughts on communicating with your children during the divorce, Steve?
Well, it's a kind of a fine line a little bit, Donovan, because like you said before, the kids are under a lot of pressure because they know 9 times out of 10 they're going to be with mom. Okay. And being with mom means they don't want to upset mommy. And what happens is that they will side with mom, but like you said before, mom is smart. Mom can bring somebody in that brings the toys and all the fun, and you're the stern father. Excuse me, you're the stern father, and the stern is not going to work. So it can go against you. You just got to hold. Listen, you just got to hold the line and understand that at the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, but you can win at this. That if you have your stuff together, you can win at this. But for those who don't, 9 times out of 10, she's going to win everything because she's going to be more prepared. So it's hard to tell your daughter and son that you love them, but then they start questioning, well, if you love me so much, why aren't you there? Mom always told me you didn't care, and mom always told me you didn't love me, and they just recognize the behaviors, even though you do everything you can to try to see your kids, and they prevent them, Donovan.
Listen, well said, Steve. I think a lot of guys, they kind of give up. Well, the soon-to-be ex-wife, my ex, she's going to talk shit about me, and she's got them all the time. But I mean, what can I do? Guys, stay in communication with your children. We're going to go ahead and end this topic. We've got about another 20 or 30 minutes, but I'm going to end this by saying this as far as the divorce topic is concerned. There's no silver bullet for divorce, okay? The deck is heavily stacked against us, and to be quite honest with you, it's a goddamn shame that avoiding financial ruin in any given divorce is considered a win for men, right? Like, dude, I got out of my divorce and I didn't get divorce rate. Wait, you mean that's a win? Dude, you got divorced, man. Like, you get to see your kids only half the time now. As shitty as that is, it's important for guys to realize that we can avoid getting completely fucked over by the system in divorce. You're going to have to do some work, guys. You're going to have to do your due diligence. You're going to have to hire the right attorney. You're going to have to put in the work, and it's going to take effort, and it's going to take money. But if you keep these things in the front of your mind, apply them accordingly and consistently, you'll keep from getting got, okay? Don't let that bitch win, man. Protect yourself, put in the work, and exercise temperance and discipline. Because here's the thing. When she crashes and burns, and she will, you're going to come out on top. I can guarantee that.
Right. And Donovan, I want to speak for the guys that are listening who are not married or anything like that. What's very important here, I know this sounds cliche, but you guys have got to protect your seed and your last name for those who are not in these situations. Preventative maintenance is the most important thing. I don't care if you're living with her. I don't care if y'all are playing house. Never have unprotected sex with a woman unless she has your last name, number 1. And number 2, make sure that you vet these women correctly. A lot of these guys, unfortunately, did not vet their women until it was too late, Donovan. Right. And that's what we're trying to prevent. I don't want too late with you guys. I need you guys to stand forward, chest out as men, and demand more of yourself and more of these women and more of these relationships where she knows if she even pumps enough blood out of her heart, Donovan, to say or to move her mouth in a disrespectful manner, she's gone. And the more you can do that, you will never have the issues and problems that these guys are having. Again, unfortunately, they had these problems because maybe, Donovan, they didn't know how to vet, and they thought that, all couples argue, and that they do on TV. They always give you this false narrative of, all couples argue and all couples have problems. No, they don't. They do, but not real men. Donovan.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I guess that we can sort of seamlessly transition into, the last part of, the very first episode of the Red Man Hotline is really how can you tell a female is worth your time outside of sex, right? A lot of guys, I mean, listen, that's the $1 million question. In order to keep yourself from getting divorce raped, in order to keep yourself from having children with a woman you have no business having children with, you have to vet these women. Steve, what are some ways that you would advise men out here? And listen, aside from the obvious, she's got to be attractive, right? She's got to be attractive. That's number one. Outside of the pussy, the titties, the ass, and all of this other kind of stuff, what are some things that you would advise men to look for in a female when considering at least a relationship of consequence on some level?
Okay, well, here's the funny thing. Before they start to look for a female that suits them or evens with them or even kills with them, they need to know more about themselves, Donovan. The majority of these guys out here lie to themselves every day about who they are and what they're trying to do.
Right.
And the problem is women pick up on those weaknesses and they take advantage of those weaknesses. And what they do is when they realize someone doesn't know who he is as a man, what they would do is they will begin to give him what I call crumbs, Donovan. That means that, she'll keep him on the phone longer, or she'll stretch out the relationship before they have affection, or she'll force his hand and make him buy her dinners and buy drinks and do what she wants because she knows how to control the narrative.
Right.
So before these guys even think about getting a woman, they need to know who they are as a man first, because only a man can control and dominate not only his relationships, but also women. So what these guys got to stop doing is living these false narratives and lying to themselves. And it's just this simple, Donovan. If you think it, you should do it just like that. You don't think about it and then sit 3 or 4 weeks and then do it. That's the weakness. Those are the ones they're looking for. They know when a woman sees Donovan Sharpe, Donovan Jeopardized Sharpe, that is, when she sees him, whatever you think, you're automatically doing it because it's going in what I call a flow. A lot of these guys try to pretend to be men, but the problem is they think things, but they never match it with the behavior. And as soon as she sees you're not matching your thinking with the behavior, then you are wide open for whatever she wants to do to you. And it'll be more like she's Geppetto to your Pinocchio, brother.
Oh, shit. One thing about your message that is consistent is that whenever we get calls, whenever we get, super chat questions, what have you, a lot of times they say, well, there's this girl. And no matter what the situation is, you always point out that one immutable fact, and that is too many guys concentrate on the woman and not themselves. Too many men are asking, what can I do to make this woman like me? And Steve keeps telling you, you don't need to worry about that. As long as you're you, as long as you're a man, she's going to do whatever it takes to keep you around anyway. Then you don't have to be calling shows like this. Well, how can I get her to pay more attention to me? Or how can I get her to suck my dick? You don't need to worry about doing that. You need to worry about yourself first, and the female will follow.
Yeah, Donovan. And like you were saying, this is what they don't understand. She has met Donovan before. She has met me before. And here's the thing. She has met all of you before. So the way she plays the game with myself and Donovan are totally different than the majority of you guys out there. she can't get away with the things she gets away with you guys because we will never allow that to happen. So she knows that she has very little wiggle room. Matter of fact, she's always thinking about what can I do to stay around instead of what can I do to keep her around. And that's the problem. A lot of these guys, Donovan, are what can I do to keep her around? What can I say to keep her around? How can I get her to like me, like you said before? We're not that way. You have to prove yourself to me every day, because the day you show me different is the day that you are gone. There is no Dr. Phil. There's no going to the preacher. There's no marriage counseling. There's no going to your friends. There's no let's go, take a vacation to Timbuktu. You're gone because I don't need you as much as you need me because I am a man. Donovan?
Listen, and it's so funny that guys don't understand this. Again, this is basic. This is on a primal level. All things being equal, if you made exactly the same money, if you drove exactly the same car, if you guys had the same in looks, she still needs you a lot more than you need her. What do we need from women? We need sex. That's about it. If she can cook and clean, and if she can string two sentences together, and she has a little bit of intelligence, if she has a couple of marbles rolling around her head, all right, great. That's an added bonus. But we don't really need anything from women. Yes, females do have the ability to elevate our lives, but you shouldn't need a female to complete you, right? You shouldn't need a female to elevate your life. And when a female sees that you don't need her and that you want her, that's going to make her more attractive to you. That's going to make her more attracted to you. You're going to be much more attractive to her because women don't want to complete a man. Women don't want to be in charge. Women want a train to ride. They don't want to be your co-pilot. They want to be your flight attendant. That's how this goes.
Right.
Go ahead, Steve. You got it.
Donovan, one thing you said you won't look at the chat room because it makes you mad, but I like to look at the chat room sometimes.
Here we go.
And I want to say to Mr. McGuire, you got the number to call in if you got a problem with what we're saying, because he's saying control and dominate your woman. Fuck off. Don't play. No. Let's let me read what he's saying. She's not your dog. Only a child would approach a relationship like that. See, these are what I call the Agent Smiths of the Matrix, Donovan. These are the ones that think that by and Mr. McGuire, this is your problem, because right now he's typing all of the women he's trying to sleep with right now and saying, you know what? You need to listen to these two a-holes on the Redman group dogging out women and trying to treat y'all like dogs because I'm a good guy with no sack and no spine. So I'm gonna be the superhero and try to protect you. Mr. McGuire, let me tell you something. When we start getting emails from all those women that you're trying to protect, don't get mad at us, dog. So you can say whatever you want, fam, but I'm telling you, nobody said she was our dog. I'm just saying, as a quote-unquote man, that's how it is, and that's all it's going to be. But Donovan, I just wanted to say that real quick, sir.
You know, it's funny. He's probably referring to the article. I think I posted it on Negro Manosphere. Train your woman like you train your dog. That does not mean that she is a dog, right? See, what he's doing, what guys like that like to do is they like to take one thing that they do. And by the way, I'm not backing the fuck down on that. Train your woman like your goddamn dog. No, your woman is not a dog, right? No, she's not a dog, but training your woman and training your dog are very similar, right? I'll give you a couple of similarities right now. When dogs are left to their own devices, they are self-destructive. What do? They piss on the carpet. They shit on the floor. They drink out of the toilet. They tear up your shoes. What happens when you leave women to their own devices? They have a bunch of baby daddies. They get STDs. They get abortions, right? They completely destroy anything and everything around them, just like dogs, right? If your dog pees on the floor, you smack him in the butt. You take him outside. He pees in the grass. What happens then? He's potty trained, right? If your woman steps out of line, you put her back in line. You take away your attention. You take away your commitment. All of a sudden now she's going to act right. It's literally the same thing. So if you want to, and yes, you must dominate your woman. They're. Oh, wait a minute, some back noise. My bad. Oh, you know what that is? I'll bet you that's my. Oh, all right, never mind. But like I said, while there are some similarities. Oh, is it crackling? Oh shit! Why?
Yeah, it's crackling.
That doesn't make any sense. Hold on a second. I'm gonna
Okay.
quit this. Hang on a second. I think it's Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, there you're good. You're good, bro.
It's always Blog Talk Radio. But yeah, a lot of guys like to take articles like that and say, well, Donovan, you're wrong. I'm not backing off of that. Train your woman like you train your fucking dog. And I'm saying clearly, a woman is not a dog. But women have a lot of things in common with dogs with regards to training them to elevate your life. I don't need a dog. I don't need a woman. A dog does have the ability to elevate my life just like a woman. Dogs have purposes. Women have purposes. I don't need either one, but I like them both. I have a woman and I got a couple of dogs. I even got a cat, right? But he also mentioned something else. Dominant. You said something about I think you said that he said something about domination or something like that. I didn't see it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, you got to dominate your woman. This is where it is. And if he says fuck off with that, fine. Listen, hey, and you know what? What's his name? Mark McGuire or Mr. McGuire? I feel sorry for guys like this because he honestly believes that he is on the high road. But listen, sooner or later he's gonna learn the truth. He's not gonna admit that he knows the truth, right? He's gonna say, "God damn, those motherfuckers are right," but I can't say they were right. We'll never see him again, right? But when the sixth woman in 6 months cheats on him, at some point the light bulb is going to go off. He's going to be like, you know what? Those motherfuckers were right. We do have to dominate them, right? We do have to dominate women. Women don't like men like Mr. McGuire. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. And of course, he doesn't have the balls to call in, so it's all good. I don't care.
Well, yeah. Again, he doesn't have the. I mean, again, hiding behind mommy's skirt, attached to mommy's umbilical cord. We know how they are. But
and Mr. McGuire, tell your mom I said hi.
Yeah, tell her we'll be over tonight to get that steak and potato meal.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, we do appreciate you. But what I'm saying is why the dog and the woman are so important. And I always tell guys, every man should have a dog at least one time in his life to understand what loyalty is. There's nothing loyal in this world like a dog. A dog you can spank that dog and 2 seconds later pat your chest and he's coming to wiggle his tail. He will walk with you when you go from room to room. If somebody's at the door, he will always bark and he will always do everything he can to protect you. That is the loyalty of a dog. So why not demand that from a woman, if not more? So I see no difference, brother.
Well, Mr. McGuire does, and this is why women are going to treat him like a dog. Steve, listen, man. I would say this is a pretty successful launch, man. You brought your guy on, Greg Doss, who dropped rock solid knowledge. Listen, the callers were on point. I mean, they had poignant sound advice. Listen, some guy said, hey, listen, I've been through the ringer, but I got through it, and this is how I got through it. I'd say this is a success, man. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 super chats. I think we took something like 13 phone calls. I'd say this is a pretty successful launch, man.
No, it is a great successful launch, and we appreciate all you guys. And again, we're sorry that unfortunately that you are in the situations that you're in, but the thing that we can give you guys is support and backing of men, man, and that's greater than anything else you can ask for, Donovan.
Be sure to tune in live next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to be here Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're going to be joined by Rollo Tomasi. We were supposed to be joined by him today, but he had some craziness that he's dealing with up there in Rio. He's not going to be on the Redman group tomorrow either. But listen, everything's fine. Rollo's fine. Everything's good. Just some stuff that you had to take care of. Shout out to Freelance Ronan, Whiskey to Don, Javon Smiley, CJ Mutter, and Lion Sin with the super chats. Any last words, Steve?
No super chats. I mean, no. I mean, thank you, super chats, and all y'all support the show. We're gonna continue to push forward, answer calls, and give you all the advice that you can from men, man.
This is good shit. Steve, you the man, dude. I'll see you tomorrow.
No doubt. See you tomorrow, brother.
All right, guys. Take care.